Hello friends, welcome back to another episode of Movies and Melodies. Today's episode is about one of my favorite actors, Sanjeev Kumar. He was born in Surat, which came under Bombay Presidency, but current day Gujarat, and he was born in 1938. His father was Jethalal Jariwala. He was a brocade and silk jari salesperson. He dealt in wholesale as well as retail kind of a thing. And his mother was the third wife of Shri Jethalalji, Shanta Ben, and her first son was Harihar or Sanjeev Kumar. She had two other sons and then a daughter after him. Their circumstances were very, very comfortable initially. Unfortunately for the family, Shri Jethalalji passed away at the young age of 47 when Harihar was only 11 years old. This was very, very hard for the whole family. Shanta Ben was very devastated. In addition to all of this part of the tragedy, what was even worse was that Shri Jethalalji's cousin, who was his business partner, cheated Shanta Ben. She was an uneducated lady. She didn't know the intricacies of all the legal papers within the business. So he tricked her into signing away all the business and the big house that they lived in Santa Cruz over to him. She was left with nothing at this point. But she was such a courageous lady. She decided, in what was basically an unprecedented kind of a move in those days, to sue her brother-in-law. So she went to court. Unfortunately for her, she lost the case, and this meant she also lost her home. She had to move with her 4 children to just 2 rooms in Bhuleshwar. These 2 rooms had been actually purchased by her husband for the business part of things. He used to use it as a warehouse. Unfortunately, she had to move there, to live there now. So she had the children and herself living in just 1 room. She rented the other room out so that she would have some kind of an income. And she also decided, with the help of some of her husband's old employees, to start the jari business again and, she take over the whole thing. She used to work immensely hard from morning till night, and she also took care of her children. Her children were in an English medium school before her husband passed away. She couldn't afford the fees anymore, so she had to move them to a local Gujarati medium school. However, this move actually, even though at that time seemed very hard and devastating for the children, actually proved to be what started off Sanjeev Kumar into the line of films. He had a teacher there who was, interestingly enough, a math, science and drama teacher, Mr. Eentwala. He took a great interest in young Harihar, and he got his feet set firmly on the path to films. So the first song today I'm sharing is from Sanjeev Kumar's first movie as a hero, Nishan. This came out in 1965, I think, and he was cast opposite Nazima. It was a double role. The other lead was Helen. The movie was very entertaining, a Ruritarian romance, and twins and princes and lost princes and kingdoms and all kinds of machinations and so on. This song is a solo sung by Rafi Saab, picturized on Sanjeev Kumar. He's singing to Nazima. I had played the song earlier in an episode about Smiles. It's Usha Khanna's music with Javed Anwar's lyrics. You should watch the video of the song just for Sanjeev Kumar. The way he's emoted to the song is truly remarkable. धूप खिल गई रात में या बिजली गिरी बरसात में, हाय तबस्सुम तेरा,
हाय तबस्सुम तेरा, हाय तबस्सुम तेरा, धूप खिल गई रात में या बिजली गिरी बरसात में, हाय तबस्सुम तेरा, हाय तबस्सुम तेरा। पलकों की चिलमन उठाना, धीरे से ये मुस्कुराना, पलकों की चिलमन उठाना, लब जो हिले जुल्फों तले, छाया गुलाबी अंधेरा, हाय तबस्सुम तेरा। धूप खिल गई रात में, या बिजली गिरी बरसात में, हाय तबस्सुम तेरा, हाय तबस्सुम तेरा।
Hari Bhai was very aware of how difficult life was for his mother. So he was always trying to figure out ways to help her. He would come back from school, package all the jari that needed to be mailed out, and then he would take it all to the post office and mail it out for his mother. And any other capacity that he could help, he used to help her. He also hid his whole acting thing from his mother. He knew that she didn't approve of that line of that line as a profession for him. She wanted him to be either a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, something that she considered would be a respectable profession. So he didn't tell her about his school plays and acting and all of that. She found out though, and she was very upset about it. She went and berated his teacher. His teacher told her that he was not going to prevent Hari Bhai from acting because this young boy was very talented and he also did very well in studies. He was not neglecting anything and only doing his acting. So he told Hari Bhai's mother that, sorry, I'm not going to prevent him from acting. I think you should also encourage him. So once she realized, she came and she talked to her son, found out that this was where his passion lay and this was what he wanted to do for the rest of his life. She said that she would back him 100%. She was a wonderful, very supportive, very progressive thinking lady. He realized that he needed professional help, like acting classes. Sashadhar Mukherjee had already started acting lessons at his studio Filmalaya. So Sanjeev Kumar decided to go there and enroll in those classes. Unfortunately for him, he could not afford the fees. It was pretty expensive and they were in very dire straits where money was concerned. He went back home extremely disappointed but didn't want to burden his mother about this. She, however, was very in tune with her son's moods, emotions, all of this. She knew something was wrong. She managed to find out what it was and she came up with the solution where she was going to pawn her jewelry. He was very much against it, but she managed to convince him that this was the right thing to do. She got the money for him, he enrolled in his classes, and this was a very famous acting school at the time. People like Sadhana and Joy Mukherjee, Asha Parekh, they all attended the same acting school. And Mac Mohan, who played Samba in Sholay, was actually one of Sanjeev Kumar's classmates and a very close friend. So Sanjeev Kumar took his classes. P.D. Shenoy was their teacher. He was very good at getting his students to do improv. He would come up with these various characters, and give them a backstory and then say, okay, here's your character, act it out. And Sanjeev Kumar was a complete natural. He could switch from character to character with great ease and make everything seem very natural. So this went on and Sashadhar Mukherjee happened to see him in one of his class plays and decided to advise him to start actually acting in theatre the Indian People's Theatre Association. So he told him to become a member there, which he did. And that's where he met A.K. Hangal. Now, A.K. Hangal was directing a play called Damru. He looked at Sanjeev Kumar and, he didn't think this boy was very hero material kind of a guy. He was dressed kind of shabbily in his white kurta pajama. He only had 2 sets of kurtas and pajamas, which he used to wash every day and, wear. And he wore some old chappal on his feet. His hair was all unkempt. So he didn't look very hero-like. So Hangal decided not to cast him in Damru. However, Haribhai was, very good-natured about it. He used to come and watch the rehearsals. In the meanwhile, another director within IPTA was having another play come on, and he cast Sanjeev Kumar in some kind of a minor role in that play. That play actually was set to play very quickly, within 2-3 days of rehearsal. And when Hangal saw this young boy acting, he realized he had made a mistake. So he hurried to cast him in Damru. At that point, all the roles had been assigned. There was only one role, that of a retired bank manager, which was a 60-year-old man. He decided he was going to cast this young man in that role. And Shaukat Kaifi Azmi's wife, she was going to play the wife. And she was very skeptical. She was like, this 19-year-old boy, he's not going to be able to play a 60-year-old man convincingly. However, when she saw him acting in rehearsals, she realized she had made a mistake, and she became a lifelong fan of Sanjeev Kumar. So for my second song for today, I'm going to play, it's a sort of a B-grade movie. It was called Badal. It came out in 67, something like that, 1966 or 67. It was again kind of a double role thing. He acted with Helen and Vijay Lakshmi. What had ended up happening was he was cast in a lot of these B-grade stunt kind of movies. So he was sort of a stunt hero. But he still did his best even in these movies. He was very good. And this song, it was sung by Manada. Again, his emoting for this song, it's just brilliant, not over the top, very appropriate. He's very natural. He has little nuances that he adds to the singing of the song that make it so perfect. The music for this movie again was Usha Khanna, and the lyrics for this song were Asad Bhopali. Apne liye jiye to kya jiye.
अपने लिए जिए तो क्या जिए, अपने लिए जिए तो क्या जिए, तू जिए दिल जमाने के लिए, अपने लिए जिए तो क्या जिए, अपने लिए जिए तो क्या जिए, तू जिए दिल जमाने के लिए, अपने लिए जिए तो क्या जिए। नाकामियों से घबरा के क्यों अपनी आस खोते हो, नाकामियों से घबरा के क्यों अपनी आस खोते हो, मैं हम सफर तुम्हारा हूँ, क्यों तुम उदास होते हो, हंसते रहो हंसाने के लिए, हंसते रहो हंसाने के लिए, तू जिए दिल जमाने के लिए, अपने लिए जिए तो क्या जिए।
Haribhai was never intimidated by big stars. In fact, there was a play that he acted in with the great Sohrab Modi. He delivered his lines so beautifully, he was so much into his role, that after he finished his part of that monologue, The audience ended up applauding him for nearly 2 minutes, and Sohrab Modi had to wait for that time before he could start speaking. Hari Bhai went on to act in a lot of Gujarati plays also because they would pay him money. When he acted in that play with Sohrab Modi, in the audience, there was a man, Jamna Das, who was pretty familiar with the theatre world. He had worked with people like costume suppliers and stuff. So he knew what the theatre world was, and he was incredibly impressed by this young man. He came after the show, met him, and offered his services as his secretary. Now, Hari Bhai was flattered and greatly taken aback also. And he told him, he said, I don't have the money, I can't hire you, how can I pay you? And Jamna Das told him, I don't care about payment, you pay me when you can afford to pay me. But for now, you need somebody to manage your career, and I'm volunteering to do that. So he ended up being probably the only star who actually had a secretary even before he became a star, even before he actually came into movies. So in 1960, Ram Mukherjee was looking for somebody to play the role of a police inspector. It was a non-speaking role actually, very short, you blink and you miss him type of a role. But they were going to pay him 12 rupees per shift, so he gladly took it. He was very happy, took the money home to his mother, who was also very proud of this. Then after that, he was so excited at being cast in a movie that he decided he was going to renew his efforts. He would go to all these studios every day. He went to Tarachand Badjatya because he knew he was looking for someone to play the hero opposite Meena Kumari in Aarti. Ashok Kumar was already cast as not quite the anti-hero, but sort of the parallel with grey shades. So when he went and met Tarachand Badjatya was not very impressed because, he was dressed in his kurta pajama, chappal outfit, hair a mess and all of that. And he was like, how can I cast this man? Definitely not hero material. Phani Majumdar, who's going to be the director of that movie, actually was very impressed by Sanjeev Kumar. He instinctively felt there was something in this young man. So he managed to convince Badjatya to cast Sanjeev Kumar in that role. Sanjeev Kumar was thrilled. No contract had been signed, but he thought a verbal agreement was good enough. In the meanwhile, he turned down some Gujarati plays and stuff because he said, hey, I'm going to be in this big movie. Unfortunately for him, he found out very soon that Pradeep Kumar had replaced him. And the excuse that they gave him was that his teeth were bad. It's ridiculous. I mean, the man had great teeth. So, a really flimsy excuse. He was very, very disappointed by this. And I think he remembered this when later on he was given an opportunity to act in Saransh, and he actually turned it down. So, disappointments aside, he still kept working at it. In the meanwhile, R.K. Nair was going to start shooting Aao Pyar Kare with Joy Mukherjee and Saira Banu. So Sanjeev Kumar and his friend Mac Mohan actually bagged 2 very significant roles as the hero's friends. And he started shooting for this movie. In the meanwhile, when he was sitting with his friends, he decided he wanted to change his name. Hari Bhai Jariwala was great for theatre maybe, but not for the movies. So he decided he'll change his name. He wanted something with S because his mother's name was Shantaben. So he decided on Sanjay Kumar. Meanwhile, after he was cast in Aao Pyar Kare, he had gone around asking people to come and watch him in all his plays. So Aspi Irani came by, watched him and liked him so much that he cast him in his movie Badal. And Aspi was good friends with the Wadiyas, so he convinced them to cast him in Nishan. But in the meanwhile, this was all like in the early 60s. 1964 saw the release of Dosti, which was a huge hit, and that shot Sanjay Khan into stardom. Sanjeev Kumar was now in this dilemma because Sanjay Kumar and Sanjay Khan, people can get confused. So he had to change his name yet again. Aao Pyar Kare, actually, interestingly enough, he is credited as Sanjay Kumar. So he changed his name now to Sanjeev Kumar, and that of course remained. So after changing his name, he still continued struggling. He got very depressed also because, no matter how much he tried, people were not casting him. He had even changed his appearance, he started wearing like smart looking trousers and a nice shirt. He got shoes, he had a haircut. All of this was going on as well. Luck came by in the form of H.S. Ravel's Sangharsh. So what happened was this. He heard that Ravel Saab was casting for this movie, Dilip Kumar, the hero, and there was a significant role for another young male actor. He sent Jamna Das to H.S. Ravel. Jamna Das was great. He was very persistent, kept on pestering Ravel Saab. Ravel was like, nah, I'm not interested. I'll let you know later. And it got to the point where Ravel had actually banned Jamna Das from the studios. So Jamna Das was racking his brains as to figure out how to get Sanjeev Kumar into this role. He then realized that his close friend Ramesh Sehgal was very close friends with Ravel Saab. So he convinced Ramesh Sehgal to bring Ravel Saab and watch the first few reels of Nishan. Ravel realized that this was the young man he had admired greatly when watching a play called 12 Bajkar 5 Minute. At that time, of course, his name was Haribhai Jariwala. So now this young man was Sanjeev Kumar. So he had not made that connection. And once he saw who this young man was, he knew he had this amazing male lead to play opposite the great Dilip Kumar. So he was cast in Sangharsh. In fact, the first scene that he had to do with Dilip Saab, even though, this was his idol, Dilip Kumar, he still managed to keep calm and he delivered his shot so beautifully. Everything was done in one take and people were super impressed. So even though Sangharsh was a flop, Sanjeev Kumar was noticed by the A-listers now. And he got roles in movies like Saathi, Shikar. These were side roles, but they were good supporting roles. In fact, he won Best Filmfare Award for Best Supporting Actor for Shikar, and Raja Aur Rank, and so on. So the next song that I'm going to share with you is from Anokhi Raat. It was a phenomenally well-made movie, actually. The theme was very good. Sanjeev Kumar is brilliant. It was Nargis ji's niece, Zahida's debut film as well. Music for this was Roshan Saab with Indivar ji's lyrics. And Mukesh ji has sung this song, Ohre taal mile nadi ke jal mein.
ओहरे ताल मिले नदी के जल में, नदी मिले सागर में, सागर मिले कौन से जल में, कोई जाने ना। ओहरे ताल मिले नदी के जल में, नदी मिले सागर में, सागर मिले कौन से जल में, कोई जाने ना। ओहरे ताल मिले नदी के जल में। सूरज को धरती तर से, धरती को चंद्रमा, धरती को चंद्रमा, पानी में सीप जैसे प्यासी हर आत्मा, प्यासी हर आत्मा। ओ मितवारे पानी में सीप जैसे प्यासी हर आत्मा, बूंद छुपी किस बादल में, कोई जाने ना। ओहरे ताल मिले नदी के जल में, नदी मिले सागर में, सागर मिले कौन से जल में, कोई जाने ना। ओहरे ताल मिले नदी के जल में।
L.V. Prasad, the very famous producer-director from the South, he also acted in a few South Indian movies as well. He wanted to make a movie based on Gulshan Nanda's novel Patthar Ke Hont. He wanted to cast Guru Dutt in that role. But what happened at that time was K. Asif was making Love and God based on Laila Majnu and had already cast Guru Dutt in that role. So he had to wait for Gurudutt's dates. Unfortunately, Gurudutt ji passed away, and L.V. Prasad, shelved his plans. In the meanwhile, he had already made the movie in Tamil and Telugu. Then he saw Sanjeev Kumar acting in several movies and also found out that Sanjeev Kumar had acted in the Gujarati adaptation of this very play. So he realized that this man would be ideal to play the Hindi version. So Khilona was then planned. So Sanjeev Kumar was the lead. Mumtaz played opposite him. Jitendra had a very significant role as Sanjeev Kumar's brother. Shatrughan Sinha got his first big chance to play villain. And the movie was, made with a lot of effort. There was a lot of preparation. People went all over looking at different mental hospitals, talking to different psychiatrists and, other mental health professionals to find out what would be authentic and what would be the right thing for the actor to play. The story of this book was about a young man who is in love and who is betrayed by the woman he loves. And, she marries someone else. So he breaks down mentally, completely. And then slowly this other young woman helps him regain his mental stability and, they fall in love. So finally the movie was made and released in 1970. Huge, huge hit. And now Sanjeev Kumar had very, very firmly established himself among the A-listers. He, of course, received a ton of offers. He was on the list of virtually every film magazine there was. There were a lot of nominations for Filmfare Awards for this movie. Mumtaz won Best Actress, and I think it also won Best Film or Best Cameraman, something like that, cinematography. Actually, interestingly enough, the highest paid person for this movie was none of the actors, it was the cameraman. Dwarka Divecha was paid 2 lakhs to film this movie. Probably rightly so too. Anyway, after this movie, he had the ability now, the money, to be able to take care of his family in the way he wanted to. He bought a lovely house in Pali Hill. He bought a car. He moved his whole family there. He still retained those 2 rooms in Bhuleshwar though. He didn't want to forget where he started from. And he was now a very content man. He was also very careful not to accept every single offer that came by his way. He really wanted to pick and choose. So he ended up being one of the few actors who was never typecast as either a romantic hero or an action hero or a he-man or this or that or the other. For my next song, I want to share a song from Khilona. Lakshmikant Pyarelal, Anand Bakshi were the duo for music and lyrics, and Rafi Saab has sung the song for Sanjeev Kumar. Khush rahe tu sada, ye dua hai meri.
तेरी शादी पे दूं तुझको तोहफा मैं क्या पेश करता हूँ दिल एक टूटा हुआ खुश रहे तू सदा ये दुआ है मेरी खुश रहे तू सदा ये दुआ है मेरी बेवफा ही सही बेवफा ही सही दिलरुबा है मेरी खुश रहे तुझको महफिल मिले ओ जा मैं तन्हा रहूं तुझको महफिल मिले तुझको साहिल मिले, आज मर्जी यही, आज मर्जी यही, ना खुदा है मेरी, खुश रहे तू सदा, ये दुआ है मेरी, खुश रहे।
Rajinder Singh Bedi was busy working on his radio play, Nakle Makani. This play, it's a very, very interesting story. And he was working to make this a movie script and screenplay. He was now wondering who to cast in the role of Hamid. The story is that of a young Muslim couple, newlyweds. They rent a house which will have formerly been occupied by a prostitute. They don't know that. So they rent this house, and there is a stream of men coming in the evenings and knocking on their door looking for this particular prostitute. And this is compounded even more by the fact that his young wife loves music and loves to sing. So this whole situation becomes very fraught, and the young husband starts to suspect his wife of actually prostituting herself. Things are resolved in the end, but that whole situation, how the build-up happens, is very, very beautifully scripted by Rajinder Singh Bedi and directed very well. And Sanjeev Kumar, and also Rehana Sultan, who acted opposite him. It was her debut movie. She was still a student at FTII when she was cast. The two of them have really done a brilliant job of essaying their roles so perfectly to depict this whole situation. So the next song that I'd like to share is from this movie. This movie also was so successful, both commercially and critically. It won 3 national awards for music. Madan Mohanji won it. Sanjeev Kumar and Rehana Sultan both won a national award for Best Actor and Best Actress. And the lyrics for this were by Majroo Sultanpuri. Music was, I mean, Madan Mohan, you know, honestly, it was brilliant because he, considering the time that the movie was supposed to be set in and the kind of atmosphere that had to be created, you know, to sort of make it appear that it's a kotha kind of an atmosphere. The music had to be more classically based, more Hindustani based. And the trend at that time, because of R.D. Burman and all of that, was very modern Western, you know, like very catchy beats and that kind of thing. But Madanji, even though he could very well do that too, decided that he was going to go with this, which was a brilliant decision. So the next song has been sung by Rafi Saab. He sung it almost barely above a whisper. It's a very romantic, very intimate song that this young husband sings to his wife. तुमसे कहूँ एक बात परों से हल्की.
तुमसे कहूँ एक बात परों से हल्की हल्की. रात मेरी है छाँव तुम्हारे आँचल की. तुमसे कहूँ एक बात परों से हल्की 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 हल्की. सोई गलियां बाहाँ पसारे आँखें नीचे. सोई गलियां बाहाँ पसारे आंखें मीचे मैं दुनिया से दूर घनी पलकों के नीचे देखूं चलते ख्वाब लकीरों पर काजल की तुमसे कहूँ एक बात परों से हल्की 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 हल्की.
As I said before, Sanjeev Kumar never let himself be typecast. This was mainly because it was out of interest. He loved acting, he loved new challenges, he liked to portray different characters. As you all know, he's portrayed old men many, many times. In fact, in an interview when he was asked as to why he agreed to play old people, he said that it had been destined that he would not live up to 50, so he was going to experience old age through his movies. He has acted in serious movies. He's acted in light, frothy comedies with Maushmi Chatterjee and Jaya Bhaduri, Hema Malini. You know, like, what is that? Sita or Geeta. And Manchali with Leena Chandavarkar, Angur. What a great comic movie that was. He's also acted in side roles like Aapki Kasam. It's a significant-ish role, but there's not much screen time that he gets in the movie, and yet you come away from the movie being more impressed by his subtle acting versus Rajesh Khanna's melodrama. Shatranj Ke Khiladi, Satyajit Ray's movie, to, you know, be cast in a movie like that with somebody like Ray, and you actually bring in your own twists to that character and impress a director like Satyajit Ray, that is, you know, really brilliant. On the personal front, he remained single all his life. He had a brief but fairly intense relationship with Hema Malini for a little while, and they broke it off mutually because they were not able to come to an understanding about certain things. He decided that he was not going to get married. He was also a man who was very, very generous, probably generous to a fault, one could say. He could not turn down anyone who came to him with a sob story. All his friends and his family say that. In fact, after his death, a lot of people came to return the money that he had lent them. Then a lot of people also did not. So I guess you win some, you lose some. He was also a foodie. He loved food and drink, loved to hang out with his friends, eating and drinking and, you know, entertaining people. Unfortunately, this did not help the heart condition that he had been born with. It was a congenital thing, apparently also a genetic disorder within the family. So this had taken quite a toll on his heart. When he was finally diagnosed with this issue, he underwent surgery, recovered, then he had to undergo a bypass surgery as well, and he went abroad to do that. He came back, you know, lost a lot of weight and everything, but he was still pretty weak. He hadn't quite recovered completely from all of this surgery that he had had. Yet he was so conscientious about his producers not losing any money that he pushed himself to complete all the movies that he had on hand. This, I think, put a huge strain on his heart. In the meanwhile, in 1980, on November 6th, he had to deal with a really crushing blow. His mother passed away suddenly. It was something that was very hard for him to recover from because she was his biggest supporter, the biggest friend that he had, someone who really understood him and who was his anchor throughout his life. Barely 4 years after that, his youngest brother Nikul passed away, again due to a heart attack. And November 6th, 1985, 5 years to the day after his mother died, Sanjeev Kumar passed away as well. And barely 6 months after that, his other younger brother, Kishore, also passed away. It was really sad, all these people dying in their 40s. His death, of course, has left a huge void in our cinema, I think in cinema in general, because he acted in a lot of Gujarati movies and I think a couple of Bengali ones as well. You wonder what other things he would have done had he remained in the industry for a little longer. So for the last song, I'm leaving you with a song from one of my favorites of Sanjeev Kumar's movies, Anubhav. It was a movie about marital relationships and how small things can degrade that relationship. It was Kanu Roy's music and Kapil Kumar's lyrics. Tanuja was cast opposite Sanjeev Kumar. They both are brilliant in it. The song is actually played in the background and just has scenes of their married life together. And again, you see how brilliant he is in these little scenes and touches. And Tanuja also is actually, I would say, equally brilliant with him. Manade has sung this song. फिर कहीं कोई फूल खिला चाहत ना कहो इसको. I'll be back in 2 weeks, but until then, remember, music is food for the soul. Keep listening.
फिर कहीं फिर कहीं कोई फूल खिला चाहत ना कहो उसको. फिर कहीं कोई फूल खिला चाहत ना कहो उसको. फिर कहीं कोई दीप जला मंजिल ना कहो उसको. फिर कहीं मन का समंदर प्यासा हुआ क्यों किसी से मांगे दुआ. मन का समंदर प्यासा हुआ क्यों किसी से मांगे दुआ. लहरों का लगा जो मेला ना कहो उसको. फिर कहीं कोई फूल खिला चाहत ना कहो उसको. फिर कहीं